Hello, lovely to see you again. It's Kerry from Mobilates, and we've got 30 minutes of mindful moving, sitting, standing, lying down, bit of everything, but keeping it really gentle and slightly different this week. So I'd like to listen to your comments, read your comments, take on any feedback. There was a mention of, if you have the music on, you can't always hear everything I'm saying. Really important point. And doing Pilates movement with music is a controversial thing amongst teachers. Some people do it, some people don't. I don't do it in my in-person classes. I don't tend to use it. There's so much to think about. But it can put you in that really restful state. So I've left it out today. If you want some music going, you can have some music going. You could put on the radio, or if you use something like Spotify, or you've got a CD you want, have it on as well, and see if you can follow me and have the music in the background. But we're going to go without. We're going to start sitting or standing. Could be sitting on the edge of your bed, could be sitting in a chair. We're going to do half of the class as usual. We do it sitting or standing, just mobilizing the body, and then we make our way down to a flat surface. So that could be the floor, and I like to have, I've got a wooden floor here, and then I've got a rug, and then I've got a soft mat, and then I've got a skinny non-slip mat. So, Princess in the Pea, I like all my mattresses. If you've got a bed, you want firmness. So just make sure the duvet is back. Who's that? Irene. Hi, Irene. Nice to have you here. Any comments like Irene, hop on. Just give it a little hello. Tell me what you think without the music, maybe at the end of the class. See what you think. But let's let everything go from today. Let's relax the whole body. So standing with your feet wider than hip width, sitting with your feet wider than hip width, and you can see I'm moving side to side. I am finding my center. I'm just leaning forward to see. Hello, Beryl. I don't think I've seen your name before, Beryl. Maybe you have been silently following. Nice to have you here. This is centering. So I'm moving from one side, moving to another. If you're on the chair, your bottom and your feet will be down, and you just be going sort of on your axis, on your sitting bones. Who've got their hygiene? Oh, nice to have you back again. I know a lot of you have been saying I'll catch you later because there's so much on at this time of year. You're with me now. So just doing that, moving backwards and forwards, and then find a stillness. Let your arms just hang down nice and soft. You can imagine them like ribbons, or just like really soft flowing plants, something really gentle. If you want to close your eyes, you can. If that feels safe, you can just stare into the distance, gaze downwards, whatever feels good and relaxed for your eyes. Give anything a little wriggle. And then we're going to soften and relax downwards. Our feet, if you're sitting, your sitting bones have got you. Relaxing from the top of your head, the scalp, the hair, behind your ears, and then down your forehead. It's spreading down your face, down the sides of your temples and your nose, right over your cheeks and your mouth. Now let your mouth open just a little. So if you've been like that, closed mouth, just let your mouth open slightly. You can close it again when you need to, but just keeping it open relaxes all this bit that gets so tense. And you try to take any expression out of your face. So I'm still talking, there's quite a lot of expression going on, but I want you to go blank. So letting your face go blank, letting this feeling travel down your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your back, your front. Feeling it in your fingers. Maybe you feel it passing out through your fingers, down your legs, the front and the back. You can move your knees if you want to. You're not rooted to the spot. If you need to change something, change it. Until you feel that heaviness, that stillness around your feet. The rest of your body is relaxed. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, sigh it out. I can't hear you, you'll just hear me. Another one, breath in. Another audible sigh. Oh, that was a deep one. Right, let's open our eyes if they've been closed. And we're going to keep our bodies as they are. Move your feet inwards a little so that they're parallel, just a little bit narrower. Now think about your head, the top of your head going upright, that really relaxed body. We're just going to stretch it out. I'm going to pull that very top thread, hair, whatever you want to think of, upwards. Feel a little bit of tension here. I'm just catching who's that down there. Heather. Oh, yes, perfect for the end of the day. I absolutely agree. Right, so let's use this belly tension and let's get into the spine. Now today's class is number 50, I believe. So all about the spine, because Pilates is all about the spine, and this is Pilates inspired movement. So we're tucking our bottoms under, lengthens the spine, and then we stick it out and you get this sort of arch. It's sort of shortening it, makes things contract a little. Tucking under, and you can see my t-shirt sort of bagging around and changing as I do this move. If it's really stiff and you find this hard, it can help to have a hand on the front and the back, and then you can sort of press against it, and sometimes that contact makes it easier to feel what you want to move. Some people like to have their hands on their belly, thumb and finger touching this sort of diamond shape, and then feeling the difference. So as your bottom goes back, there's less pressure under the fingers. As it comes forwards and you're sort of scooping, got this rounding going on, you feel more pressure. Whatever works. Right, let's drop our arms down, make this tilting movement smaller until it's hardly happening at all. You find that perfect spot in between, a little wriggle, opening out here. If it helps to touch your collarbones, touch them. It just reminds them, oh yeah, this is the bit I'm going to let go of. Right, let's have our heads just as if they are leaning against the back of the wall. So as you do this, you go from maybe a little bit of a slumpy posture to just lengthened in the neck. You can relax and slump again, and then we'll pull it back, but it's a gentle tension. It's not quite the sort of surprised feel. It's just longer neck. We're going to hold it back there and turning from one side to the other. Keep it moving, and imagine your eyes got a really gentle laser coming out, and you're just scanning that laser round the room, same distance from the ceiling. And then bring it back to the center, ear towards shoulder. Your chin is pivoting in the middle. So I'm trying to avoid that sort of thing happening when your head turns. So your head stays facing forwards. So if we were looking at each other directly, we just keep looking at each other. But our whole head just tilts to one side and the other side. And it might be one side goes more than the other, especially if you feel stiffer on one side. And then back to the center. Right, we're going to go into shoulder rolls. So let's start a little one first, just a small one, see how it feels. That might be where you want to stay. If you've got different things going on one side to the other, work one side and then work the other. The stiffer side sometimes welcomes some extra goes. It's extra oiling really. But if it's really painful, you might want less. There's no hard and fast rules. So this time let's breathe in. See the shoulders come forwards, up. And just at this point where they're just about to travel back, that's where you start the exhale. And I'm blowing it out through my mouth because that just makes it more controlled. And this sort of movement, it's mindful. We've got this mind-body connection as we're doing it. So I almost, even though I'm speaking to you and teaching the class, it just takes me to a little zone. So I'm sort of in that zone and I'm just thinking about teaching you and delivering this class and what my body is doing, because that reflects what your body is doing. Last one. We're going to place our hands just around here. They could also be here. We're going to breathe in and feel a little bit of extension. That just means a little bit of back bend at the top of our spine. And as we breathe out, just let the elbows come in. In, leaning back a little, and out. So this part of my back's not doing anything. It's all in this upper part. In, out. I've got my arms here. I'll show you from the side. In, out. In, out. In, out. Nice. Right, give everything a little shake. We're going to go into a flow, and I'm going to demonstrate it standing, and then I'll demonstrate it sitting. So first we'll start with a heel raise. Now you can't quite see all my feet, so I'm just taking the camera down a little bit. So a heel raise is just that, the heel comes up and down. Now if you struggle, if you haven't got flexibility in the front of your foot, or your big toe doesn't like it, it may be that you just want to lift the foot and lift the other foot. So they just come off the floor. You'd probably be in trainers if that's the case, or shoes. And that's fine. So just getting that alternate, and we're trying not to go too much one way, too much the other. We're trying to keep that sort of center point, just a little bit of shifting, bit of tension here. And then we're going to start raising the leg a bit more. Keep going if you're standing. If you're sitting, it looks very similar, but the arms are here. So that's the heel raise. That little dinging sound you can hear in the background, it's a Japanese sort of wind chime. And it's just a little bell, and it's got a piece of beautiful paper hanging down. And when the wind just catches it, you get a little chime from it. You might be lifting your legs slightly higher. So you can let your foot drop, or you can bring your foot up, and it might be tiny like that. If it feels like you want to get your arms moving, get your arms moving. The next move is tapping out to the side. So rest the hands here, keep your body to the center, and just tapping or sliding the foot out to the side. If you're standing, it's almost like a pendulum move, taking one leg outwards and back, the other leg out. Your foot stays facing forward. You might want your arms out to the sides. You might even be lifting that leg in the air and flexing your foot, that's toes towards your nose a little bit. But this is fine too. You can hear my sticky mat. Because I haven't got the music, you can hear all these different sounds, I think, today. And let's bring that in. Have a little jiggle. And then we're going into a side bend. So sitting or standing, your feet are that hip width again. They're parallel. If you look down, you could imagine you could place a paperback book between them. Right, I want you to feel equal weight through your feet. And if you're sitting, you're trying to feel equal weight between each side of your bottom and each foot, so that you feel really balanced. And I want you to keep that feeling as you slide over to one side. And then bring yourself up. Keep the height here. Now, as you bend over, it's not how low you go, it's how much this stretches out and opens, because it's a side stretch. So this is the side each time that we're stretching, this longer side. We're going to make it slightly different. You can turn your head, and I'm looking up towards the ceiling. It depends really on how much your neck wants to turn. Some people will try to look over the shoulder. Oh, that's definitely a bit more of a challenge for me. I might do a little of that and then more of a look up at the ceiling. Some of you might just be looking less far back on the ceiling. If you're sitting, it's the same. But keeping that weight even on each side, so it doesn't feel like that is happening. That's pretty hard to do. Last one's like that. And then let's do something a little bit more fluid. We often do this one. So take your legs a little wider. First, just start to scoop this imaginary water around you. Use your hands, twist your wrists, let your feet start to move. You'll see your knees come forward. You're turning a bit more. Just watch you're not crashing into anything. Always check that my chair is far enough back. And then if your arms want to fall onto each other, onto your body, not onto each other, and you can look a little more behind you. In the chair, it's really nice to use the chair to your advantage. So keep your legs where they are and then use the chair to grab onto and pull yourself round a little bit if that feels good. And then bring yourself back to the center. And then one more before we take it to lying down. So take your legs wide. Your feet are pointing very slightly outwards, might be a bit more, doesn't matter too much. If you're standing, we're going to take bottoms back into a little squat. So you can have your arms going forwards. It's like a counterbalance. So you can see bottom goes back, arms goes forwards and up. Now, on this one, you can see my knees are hardly bending. So if your knees are the problem, you can do it like this. But just make sure your bottom stays back and your back is fairly straight. Your head's not going downwards. It's just in line with your back. If you want to take it lower and you're happy bending lower, take it lower. So you'll feel your weight go backwards and your arms and your head goes forwards. If you're sitting, we're going to hinge forwards. So take your legs wider. You can put your hands on your legs. I like to turn my hands this way in so my elbows can bend and hinge forwards. And sit up, hinge forwards and sit up. Now, as you hinge forwards, the weight goes into your feet. My legs are still at this 90 position here. They've got that angle here, but they're just wider. I'm really pressing now into my feet. And if you can't feel your feet, feel your legs tense here. And if you don't want to sit so far forwards, just a little. But your back's not bending, it's straight. Last one. And then we're going to take ourselves down to the floor, down to your bed, whichever you're doing. So I'm going to put this chair away. Change a few positions so that you can see everything. You might want a cushion underneath your head. You know, always say, get yourselves comfortable. We're not doing anything particularly with the cushion today, but just being comfortable is nice, isn't it? Feeling that you've got support. And you can always check when you're lying down where your head is looking up, because that really gives you a clue as to whether you really need something under your head. So if I lie down on my back here, my view is definitely straight upwards. Sometimes in class I might see somebody and their head is like that, their chin's going back and it's like they're looking over there. That's when I know they really need something under their neck, maybe under their head as well. Could be a block, it could be quite a thick cushion. Sometimes people are just more comfortable for their neck if they've got something small under here. So if I reach behind me, I've got a really small neck cushion. That's nice because it supports my neck, but my head still goes down. Or I use, this is like a little feather filled cushion, but it's quite small. That can be nice as well. I just send it back behind. Right. So, getting yourself comfortable on the floor. So having all those wiggles, so it feels like your back and your shoulders and your head are all nicely settled and in place. And just take a moment and have a breath. And then we're going to bring a leg towards our chest, a knee. Now, if you want to hold underneath, you can. Feel your back will round a little, that's okay. And take it down. And the other one comes in. Take it down. And we'll just keep that going. I'm just assisting a little, making that pull a little stronger. And then we're going to take both legs into our chest And you can pull them up towards you, just getting that extra length on the spine, rocking a little. If your knees want to be wide, they can be. Your feet can touch or not, doesn't matter. And then we're going to stir our knees. So hands on the top, it's a gentle pressure, it's more to guide. Feet touching, so I've just got the balls of my feet just touching each other. And then just push round. So each knee is actually going the opposite way. And there's a rocking sensation going on in the lower spine and across the sacrum, the pelvis, back of your bottom, the bony bit. And then take it the other way. Now, the further your knees reach away from you, the more challenging it is. So if you want to keep it small circles and close, you can do. If you want to work these muscles a little harder and it feels okay, just push them further forwards as far as your arms will allow. You could even just have one finger in contact with your knees doing this one. And then take your legs down one at a time. Now your arms are going down by your sides. How far out they go is the amount of support that you're going to give yourself. So if they're close to your sides, less support. If they're in this T shape, out right to the sides each way, that's giving you a really good base and lots of support. So you might want to start somewhere in between because you can change it. Check your legs and your knees and your feet. So let's have the feet and the knees close to each other, squeezing in, and then take your heels out and your toes forwards. So now you've got that little gap between your knees and your feet. We're going to take a breath in. Feel it in your chest, feel it expand, your ribs expand against the mat. As you breathe out, this leg is going to sway over towards you, but nothing changes here. As you breathe in, this leg's coming back. Same leg, breathing out, over it goes, just as far as you can control it. So I'm rolling onto the side of my foot, but this area stays the same. It almost feels like it's been stretched a little because that leg's moving outwards. And we're going to do one more this side. This leg's still. And then have a little wriggle. Take your hands, place them over your low belly. So hip bone area, low belly, just so you can feel what's going on. So we've just done it with the support. And I want you to feel here what's going on, how much things are moving. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, this time it's this leg is my left leg. Moving away, this leg closest to you is still. So you might feel the tension more. You might feel the bit when you go, oh, wobble, wobble. So we just want to be on the edge of that. Breathing in, bring it back. Breathing out, let it roll out. It's a bit like opening a door. And the hinge is here at the hip. I definitely struggle more on this side because I can feel the wobble. Last one. And then take your arms out and just have a little sway. We're going to make it a little harder. So same position to start. We'll have these arms out of the sides again. Remember, that's the biggest amount of support, and this is the least, apart from putting your arms in the air. Not going there at the moment. Right, let's take one leg up to tabletop. That's just bringing it up at 90 degrees. Breath in. Breath out, bring that leg up. Floating out. Right. Check that you're steady here. Breath in. Now we're breathing out, and this whole leg comes out in one shape. It's coming out towards you, and then it's coming back in. And take it down. Now I'm going to do the other side. So take a breath in. Bring the leg up at 90. Now we tend to think all about this moving leg. Think about the still leg. Keep it still. Open the other leg outwards as far as it will comfortably go before it feels like you're going to roll over and lose the control here. Well done. One more each side. Oh, this is slow and serious stuff, isn't it? If this is too much, go back to where we were with the foot down. Last one. You've got it. Well done. And take it down. And then arms definitely out to the side, legs together. Let's just sway. So you're rolling onto your side, your shoulders stay stuck down, and your hips and back keep returning to the floor. Let's stick the feet together so you roll onto the side of your feet. And another thing you can do is start to extend that top leg, if that feels okay. It just increases the pressure. Some people like that stretch and that feeling. If it's not for you, just keep the legs stuck together. Last one. And then we're going to roll onto our fronts. So we're going to do a little bit. We did some back bending right at the start of the class. We had our hands up here and we were bending forwards and backwards. We're going to do a little bit on our fronts. So if you are really tight in the lower back, you might want a cushion just underneath here. So like that. Because what that does, it just takes the arch out of your back. And if your lower back is a bit temperamental, it can feel more comfortable. Otherwise, you don't really need a cushion here at the front. We're just on our front. Legs can be a little distance apart, but I'm going to lengthen my legs away at the moment rather than let that happen. When that happens, I can see my back arches more and it just gets uncomfortable. So I'm going to keep them long. This reminds me just to tuck my bottom under just a little. If you bring your head down and then your forearms to your sides. So you can see mine are either side of my mat just because that feels about comfortable for me. Might be they're a little closer. And I just want you to push yourself up so that you're resting on your forearms. And if they need to crawl forwards like mine just did, they crawl forwards. And your head's looking at your bed or your mat or slightly ahead. My bottom's still tucked on just very slightly. I'm just going to push up. And that's about my comfortable place. And then I'm going to take it down. You can take your arms a bit wider. I know that I prefer this with my arms a bit wider. We're going to come onto the forearms. And then you can push a bit more and come onto your palms. And I tend to keep my head quite low until the last bit when I'll bring it up a little bit higher. And then I'm going to let myself really nice and slow come down. Breath in, breathing out, pushing yourself up. Keeping that bottom a little bit of a tuck under and then rolling down. So you can see it's a gentle back bend. You might come up this far. You might come up much higher than me. It depends on what your spine is like and your mobility, so many different factors. But it tends to be a really good move for most of us because it's something we don't do much in our daily tasks. We tend to do lots of forward things. Last one. And then take yourself down and let your bum have a little sway from side to side. Your feet, if they need a little wiggle, if they're getting crampy, just give them a wiggle. Mine were getting crampy, I won't lie. Right, now we're going to take ourselves into a long line. If you want to, you might have something underneath your forehead. I don't like things under my forehead. I just squish my nose on the mat. So we're going to have our forehead down. Think long line with your whole body. Pressing your legs as close as you can. Keep that little tuck under on your bottom. And your palms are going on your thighs. As close as you can. Even a little bit of pressure is quite hard work. Take a breath in. Feel like your legs are strong, long, a little bit tense. As you breathe out, feel your shoulders traveling down like your hands are creeping down your legs. Bring your head and chest up. Now this time it doesn't go very far. It's called dart and you're in that shape and then bring it down. Up and down. Up and down. Last one, up and down. Take your legs, not your legs, arms under your forehead. If you take your legs under the forehead, that's a very different move. And let your legs sway, let your bum wiggle, let your legs get a little bit wider. It's just rocking it out, making your back sort of move and be comfortable. And then options, you can either push back, so you can take yourself where we did at the start, where you're on your forearms, and push right back. Keep pushing until your bottom is settled down towards your heels. And there are options here of putting cushions in and being a little higher. If that's not for you, especially if your knees get uncomfortable, take yourself onto your back and bring your knees into your chest. It's the same position. It's just a different way around, and the pressure on the knees is much lighter if you'd rather have your legs up in the air or either side of you in a sort of happy baby position. All good. This is like a restorative part. Restoration makes it sound like we're trying to do ourselves up. Maybe we are. This is the restorative part of the class, and we're just sort of easing everything out from the hard work we've just done. So either way, a bit of rocking is nice. Breathing a little bit deeper, just letting everything calm. And then we're going to roll onto our sides and take ourselves to sitting. So you might be sitting on your mat. You might be sitting on your bed. I'm going to go for cross-legged, but you could have your legs out that way or straight ahead, or one out and the other in. We're just going to do some side bends to finish. So palms and fingers are just reaching downwards. And then you can see my fingers are just creeping away from me. I'm reaching over the side. I'm imagining that I'm leaning very slightly against a wall, so that my arms and body are all against that wall, sort of swishing against it and rocking from one side to another. And just like those side bends before, open out this long area, just the same. Last one each side. And then take the arm and open forwards. It's like you're sort of addressing a crowd. And then we'll go over this way. So we're on our side and then opening forwards, like you're trying to reach everybody. Stretching our side, reaching as far forward as you can, and your bottom stays on the floor. You may be feeling this just around these side glute area. Last one. And then bring yourself upwards. Take your palms out to your sides. Scoop the air up, breathe in. Bring your hands into your chest. Give yourselves a clap. Happy 50th class to you all. It's always a pleasure. Let me know what you thought. If you enjoyed the class today, let me know what you think without the music. It's very calm. It's very quiet. Did it work for you? And I shall see you again next week. Oh, namaste, Irene. I'm going to check through the comments now. Lovely to see you all again. Bye-bye.